Hey world travelers, welcome to another edition of Anarchast, your home for anarchy on the internet and around the world on satellite radio. We have a guest coming in from San Miguel de Allende in Mexico, Colin Diggs. He's the author of Reaching the Finish Line. He's sort of a career counselor. He helps people. He's helped over 2,000 people sort of improve their business life, their work life, whether it be through getting better jobs or through even starting up their own companies. And he's quite well known. He's been all kinds of radio all over the place, and been quite successful with the book as well. So we're going to talk about that because I know there's a lot of broke anarchists out there and we got to snap you out of it. And we're also going to talk about how he just moved in the last 6 weeks from Austin, Texas down to Mexico. And we're going to ask him about why he did that and how he's been enjoying the move so far. I want to ask you about your trip down to Mexico. For people who don't know, there's a lot of people who've been moving down to Mexico recently, a lot of anarchists, anarcho-capitalists, voluntarists, libertarians, all the same thing really. And just different ones have different baggage and different things, but they're all basically the same thing. And I was just yesterday at a meetup group here in Acapulco. So a lot of people who came to Acapulco last year. There's dozens who just stayed. And so I went out with about a dozen or more of them yesterday, and that was nice. And you're in San Miguel. We have a lot of TDV readers in San Miguel as well. And so tell us a little bit about why, first of all, you left Texas and why and how your trip's been going so far.
Yeah. So the reason why I left is because I always like to I like to always change my environment, and I lived abroad in the past, lived in Ecuador, and that was quite an interesting experience. But I do find Mexico is a better is a better country transitioning for most expats, because usually Ecuador was like a huge kind of culture shock, as opposed to Mexico is much more comfortable, much more kind of easy to transition to. Mexico has been very great so far. I wasn't kidnapped, I wasn't shot, I wasn't robbed, none of that stuff. Crossing the border was actually very easy. For those of you who don't know, I took the bus to Mexico, so I didn't fly. I kind of wanted the ultimate adventure. So I took the bus to Mexico, and I left from Austin to Laredo. And then from Laredo, I went to San Miguel de Allende. So basically, I had to switch to another bus when I got to the bus station in Nuevo Laredo. And then I switched there, and I got to San Miguel. But as far as getting the 6-month tourist visa and all that, it was very straightforward. Officers were very nice. They checked my stuff. They said, "Hey, welcome to Mexico." They didn't dump my stuff on the floor. I didn't get frisked. They didn't stick their hands in my pants. Basically, what happened was, once I went through the customs, they just took a quick peek in the bag and said, "Welcome to Mexico." It was very straightforward.
Yeah, and a lot of times they don't even check. When you come through on a bus, they do check. But if you're just driving in or even walking in across a lot of those borders, there's actually usually not even anyone even there. So it's a lot better as far as ease of travel getting into Mexico. So that's interesting. You took the bus down. I've known a lot of people have taken the bus. Did you take the VIP buses or?
So I took, what was it called? I took Primera Plus from Nuevo Laredo to San Miguel. It wasn't like ETN. And for those of you, a lot of expats do highly recommend that bus because I guess it's one of the best buses. I haven't read it, but I took one called Primera Plus, and it was okay. It was a nice bus. It was very comfortable. I would definitely say it's way better than Greyhound in the U.S. I can't stand those buses. I had to ride that bus to get to Laredo, but it was.
Well, it's in a third world country, so that's why the buses aren't so good up in the U.S.
Yeah, so Primera Plus was great. The bus driver was cool. The seats were very comfortable. They were clean. It was a very comfortable ride. A lot of people think that they think bad of Mexico, so they think that everything else is bad about Mexico. But the buses are some of the most cleanest that I've seen during my international travels.
Yeah, and there's some called VIP buses for people who don't know. And so if you get the option, always take the VIP, and there's usually like leather reclining chairs and entertainment units, and some of them even have Wi-Fi. So for people looking to come down. So now you're in San Miguel. You've been there for a few weeks. How have you been enjoying it?
Oh, it's been great. A lot of locals are to kind of explain, at least for Mexico, and Jeff, you're already familiar with it. A lot of locals here are very friendly. They're very welcoming. They're very amenable to Americans. I haven't had any problems yet. I've made a lot of good friends so far. People have been nothing but helpful. A lot of the same conveniences as in the U.S. For people who are, vegan or vegetarian or like organic food, they have all that here. That's that's definitely a plus for someone who's used to those type of things. When it comes to mail services, a lot of Americans say, "Well, what about mail?" Let's say I want to work on another country and kind of have a location independent business. Well, there's actually three mail services that cater to gringos, and I use one of them. I use one called Lavinia. They've run by two Texans. Back in the States, and it's been nothing but a great service. They take care of my mail needs, and if I want something, I buy something in the U.S., they go to the border, they pick it up, and they bring it back. So I've been making a transition to Mexico quite nicely, Jeff.